What is the best type of personality? A lot of people would point to alpha males, who seem to be all around happy and upbeat. But other people might point to sigma males, who are thoughtful and reflective, but sometimes seen as cold or reclusive. The truth is that there's no single best personality type. In fact, some psychologists believe that every person has a range of personalities inside them, which they express in different ways depending on the situation. If you're a sigma, then you may have noticed that this sounds like your own way of being in the world, with an inner life full of rich thoughts and ideas, but also comfortable with time alone without feeling lonely at all. But what are the best aspects of being a sigma? Of course, everyone has their positive and negative traits, so it's often fun to come up with a list. So let's see 10 positives that you might recognize as part of your own personality. Of course, you may also see some areas for improvement. 1. You're a deep thinker. People with the sigma personality type are constantly analyzing information and turning it over in their minds. By spending time alone and thinking deeply about things, you sometimes find yourself having fascinating insights into personal concerns or issues, which matter to you passionately. This means that you might be able to come up with some solutions for problems that nobody has solved yet, such as fixing the flaws in society, or creating better systems for human beings to live by, something many people admire about sigmas. But while your individual ideas are often quite unique, you may also have a hard time expressing them to others. Being an introvert by nature, you might feel most comfortable living inside of your own head, but this can make it hard for others to understand you if they don't know where you're coming from. 2. You're not afraid to be different. People with the sigma personality type are often more interested in their own thoughts than those of everyone else. This is why they prefer quiet time alone rather than spending hours socializing at parties or networking for business purposes. However, even though your individuality might make strangers uncomfortable sometimes, it's something that ultimately shows how strong-minded you are. People who value their ideas will often be able to pursue them in the face of opposition, which is something that might otherwise hold you back. Being open to new experiences also means that you're not afraid to try out new things, which makes it much easier for others around you to relate. 3. You take a long time to get close with people. Sigma personality types are known as being quite detached, because they prefer spending time alone, or with just one other person at a time. Don't expect an invitation from someone who has this personality type, unless they've known you for a long time. Even though you're often kind and caring towards the people who matter most in your life, there are times when it's easier for them if you can give them the space they need. In relationships, you're someone who will hold back, until you feel confident that your partner is right for you. And this means that it's almost as if you choose those who are worth having a relationship with, rather than simply accepting whatever comes along. 4. You're not overly concerned with how others view you. Knowing who you are and what makes sense for your development is more important to people with the sigma personality type than just going along with other people just because they want you to. Even though this can make it hard to keep up sometimes, it's something that makes you follow your own ideas and visions for yourself. You're not afraid to make a change in life if you feel that this is the best thing for your development, even if other people don't agree with it. This kind of independence is difficult for some outsiders to understand or accept, but it also means that others will appreciate how true you are to yourself. 5. You're highly intelligent. People with the sigma personality type tend to be more logical in their thinking than most others, even though logic isn't everything. But that doesn't mean they're not capable of being creative or imaginative too. Your strong ability to concentrate on something that interests you makes it much easier for others around you to take notice of what's going on in your head, so it's important to keep this under control at times. Your ability to think logically can also help you excel at things that require this kind of focused attention, especially if it's something that interests you as well. This means that if someone comes up with an idea, they might just turn to you in order to find out whether the idea will work or not. 6. You have a strong sense of purpose. If your interests and passions are important to you, then you're likely to work hard at them in order to try and achieve success. With the sigma personality type, it's easy to be motivated by ideas, whether they are political or scientific, artistic, or spiritual. This means that what you do is often influenced by things that matter deeply to you, as well as your ultimate goals in life. But figuring out your true purpose can also feel like a struggle sometimes, with so many different interests inside of yourself. It might be good not only for honing your strengths, but also working on finding out who you really are. 7. You're curious about the world. People with this personality type tend to be more gifted than others when it comes to gathering information and storing it in memory. Learning can come easily to you, and you might even enjoy learning for its own sake, rather than for a practical purpose of getting a good grade or getting ahead at work. So when new situations present themselves, you can often respond quickly and intelligently, because of all the knowledge that's already stored up inside your head. But at the same time, this interest in learning also means that you sometimes find yourself knowing too much about something which isn't important, especially if it's not going to help anyone else in any way. This is one reason why you might prefer to keep your knowledge to yourself. 8. You are good at solving problems. You love finding creative solutions to things, and can sometimes be labeled as a problem solver by others, even though you probably prefer to think of yourself in more broad terms. The fact is that many people do respect your opinion when it comes to finding new ways of doing things, or coming up with ideas for inventions that never existed before. You also tend not to give up easily on something that interests you, and this means that even if a problem seems hard at first, you'll usually find some way of figuring it out. This kind of tenaciousness can help you gain the respect of others, and prove to them that you are indeed a problem solver. But it also means that sometimes, you become too focused on finding solutions, and don't always take into account what other people are thinking or feeling. 9. You are usually told that you're very clever. People with the Sigma personality type are often said by others to be smart or clever, and this isn't always a compliment, although that doesn't seem to bother Sigma types. Sometimes, it seems like people who don't understand your ideas may criticize them, just because they're different, but even though this is hard on anyone, it hurts you the most. This kind of behavior can make you unsure about whether your ideas are any good, or whether it's worth sharing them with others. Never let this discourage you from speaking up. If someone disagrees with something you say, try to see if there might be a different way of looking at the same topic. You might even discover something that nobody else has thought about before. 10. You can be very blunt when needed. People with this personality type can sometimes say exactly what they think, without thinking about whether someone else might take offense. When it comes down to important things like relationships, however, this isn't always such a bad trait. By being honest and forthright about how they feel, Sigma types can say exactly what's on their mind, without being confused, for example. In a relationship where you feel as though the other person isn't making an effort to understand your needs or feelings, it can be helpful to let them know exactly how you feel about things. It can be difficult to do, and often takes a lot of courage, but if you don't hold back with people who are close to you, they may appreciate that this is something that shows how much you care.